Hi everybody, Dr. Howard Cohn here from 7.2, and today we're with our good friend Nate Darnell, molecular hydrogen expert, health expert, to find out more about this phenomenon of recovery with HydroFX, why it's helping so many people, how it's helping them. Nate, thanks for being here today.
Dr. Cohn, I'm excited to be here.
So Nate, you have been following this for quite some time now. How did you even find your way to this phenomenon of hydrogen and molecular hydrogen?
It's a great question. And a couple of years ago, I had a great colleague doing some amazing water research in the Galapagos, Megan Garcia, who introduced me to a lot of technical research about molecular hydrogen. And we started sharing that with colleagues in the Pacific Northwest at various universities. And I become somewhat of a historian on the topic.
So, and I've met Megan, and she's fantastic. And you know, how to take us through the process. How have you come to now with all the different ways that you're using it?
So what we realized years ago was that there were some great technologies like water electrolyzers, more commonly called, I think, water ionizers, that it was a foundational technology, but it had limitations. And we were looking for something that could deliver more hydrogen. And a short time after we started that kind of investigative research, we stumbled upon the 7.2 company and at that time, the new product, Recovery with HydroFX. We acquired some samples of it and realized very quickly that it was producing results that we'd never seen before.
Can you just kind of take us through the history of how we got to today, now having this tablet that's such a great delivery method from where we started in hydrogen?
Certainly, and you brought up some really good points, Dr. Cohn. The safety profile of hydrogen has been established for well over 60 years, as far back as the 1940s for super deep sea diving, then by the U.S. military in the 1970s, then through the Darnell phenomenon, the medically documented Darnell phenomenon in the 1990s, and then through research around 2007 in the journal Nature. And so we've known for many years that hydrogen is non-toxic to the human body. It's therapeutic more recently. But in terms of hydrogen delivery systems, there's always been some technical challenges. And what 7.2 did, which was very unique and very much needed, was it brought several things together that really made the ideal hydrogen supplement. And that was, it made it convenient and it made it cost effective. And just by being able to put it in a tablet, instead of having to use complex machinery to get that therapeutic value or that antioxidant value in your home, in your purse, in your pocket, which we could never do before. And that's what was really revolutionary about the Recovery with HydroFX product.
So Nate, let me ask you another question. You know, you mentioned the antioxidant power of molecular hydrogen and hydrogen. And when people think of antioxidants, they might think of their, fruits and vegetables, or they might think of their pomegranate. And, occasionally even people the buzzword of like ORAC. But with hydrogen, there's a new buzzword called NORP. Can you kind of talk to that a little bit?
Dr. Cohn, that's a great question. And ORAC is an older testing mechanism that was developed by the National Institutes of Health over 30 years ago. And at that time, it was valuable. But what we've realized over time is that it's not very accurate. There are a lot of variables. And so a newer system that we're using is based on ORP, or oxidation reduction potential. Now, that scale goes from positive to negative, and the more positive the number is, really can be equated to how fast we're aging. And if we can make that number go negative, then that's kind of like turning the clock back or running the clock, aging slower. And so when we're measuring certain antioxidants, if we can get a really strong negative number, that's actually a lot better for us. And that's something that we can produce with Recovery with HydroFX and hydrogen in particular. And so ORP is a measuring technology that we can use specifically to measure the antioxidant value of hydrogen.
Especially in this area with hydrogen, not all antioxidants are created equal. There is such a thing called the selective antioxidant, kind of like a smart molecule, which people are saying about hydrogen, specifically molecular hydrogen. Can you speak to that for a minute?
That's right. Hydrogen is very unique as an antioxidant. Number one, it's so small, it can get into all of the nooks and crannies and cells in our body and really do the great work that a lot of other antioxidants simply can't do. Similarly, hydrogen only goes after the most toxic free radicals in the human body. And if you think about like the pilot light in our home, heater, it has to be running. We have to have this light fire burning to keep our bodies operating, but if it gets out of control, then it can be really dangerous. Right. And so if you use too many antioxidants or the wrong kind, you can actually suppress or put out that fire, which you really don't want to have happen. But instead, you want a molecule that can regulate it very precisely. So we have all those oxidative processes that our body has to have operating for proper metabolism, but at the same time doesn't allow them to get out of control. And that's precisely what hydrogen does. It's this beautiful molecule that in a way is smart because it has a thermostat that really kind of properly regulates the way that our body's working. Makes this very precise antioxidant oxidation balance, which no other antioxidant really does well.
So Nate, hydrogen's been described as an impact product, meaning it's like fast acting and really bioavailable. Can you explain or talk about the significance of that?
And what's unique, Dr. Cohn, about hydrogen gas is that it's such a small molecule that once it's absorbed by the body, within minutes, it's already circulating through all of our muscle and organ tissue and doing the great work that it does by getting into our cells. And when you compare it to other antioxidants, which have to be digested, they have to go through the whole stomach intestinal process, be broken down by various enzymes, there's a significant time delay, for all of that chemistry to happen, and that just doesn't occur with hydrogen. Within minutes, it's circulating throughout your body doing the amazing work that it does.
So then that's really the mechanism a lot of times that people report, like they take it and they go, I feel it right away.
That's exactly right.
That's great. One other thing, there's something real, a buzzword going around the nutrition community. It's something called NRF2 activation. Can you speak to that and why recovery and the molecular hydrogen product in that world is significant in that realm?
So NRF2 is a protein, and if we can think of it in like picture terms, if you've ever seen those old movies where they have that big electric lever that they throw, and all the lights in the city turn on, think of NRF2 as that big lever. And what that lever does is it turns on our body's natural antioxidant defense system. And for the sciencey types of people, it turns on, it increases glutathione, catalase, superoxide dismutase, which are these natural antioxidant forces inside our body. And NRF2 actually helps produce those. It makes more of them. Okay. What's unique about hydrogen compared to other NRF2 activators that are currently available, like turmeric or milk thistle, is that it takes those substances 3 months to begin to work. It takes hydrogen 2 days to begin to work, or even within minutes in some people.
So Nate, this is really a big deal because, what I've seen is, like you said, people are really excited about like turmeric, milk thistle, pomegranate, all these different antioxidants. And it's a whole different world because, that's like being in a horse and buggy, but there's jets now.
Right. So, really when the horse and buggy was around, the car was the next cool thing and everyone wanted that. But, we've made such a leap forward with hydrogen. It's now almost that leap from driving around in a car to flying around in a jet. And if you can get places in a jet faster, why would you take a car? You wouldn't. You would hop in the jet and go. And that's precisely the speed and power that we have with hydrogen that no other NRF2 activator has.
So Nate, you talk about something called cellular fitness, and one of the things that's so amazing about molecular hydrogen is the ability to work at a cellular level, which really what makes it a game changer. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, Dr. Cohn, I use the term cellular fitness a lot because there are a lot of skinny people that are really unhealthy, and oftentimes we've associated, being overweight as being unhealthy, and there's a lot of documentation to validate that too. But oftentimes what happens is that our cells are being bombarded in the 21st century by all kinds of chemicals that are in the water, that are in the air, that are in our food, that previous generations never had to contend with. And these chemicals are now causing our cells to malfunction and not work as efficiently as they could. And it's really kind of like similar to the sedentary lifestyle that so much of us are now leading, sitting behind computers. And former generations, we had a lot more movement. They ate food that, we jokingly, we've come up with terms like organic. Our grandparents just called that food.
Right.
And so now, though, what we have to do is we have to use what I often call active countermeasures. Because in order for our cells to keep functioning correctly, they really need a new kind of nutrient. And something like hydrogen that has the capacity to really get inside the cell and protect it from all of this oxidative damage that's happening from all of these chemicals that are bombarding us in the 21st century. And so if we can help our cells maintain their fitness, then our bodies run more efficiently, we're able to control our weight better, we have more energy throughout the day, we're able to sleep better, and we have more quality of time that we can spend with our family and friends. And so that's why I just started using that term, cellular fitness, because many people don't think of their cells that way, but it's really not any different than just maintaining physical fitness. We have to do those things that are necessary to help those things that even we can't see with our eyes.
That's amazing. So it's kind of like a super nutrient, if you will.
Yeah, I consider it now the vital nutrient that everyone should be taking that almost no one knows about.
Well, I take it every day. My family takes it. We love it, and we love how we feel when we take it.
I do too, and everyone in my family takes it, even my pets, and that's important for me because dogs are just like family. As far as I'm concerned, I've always been a dog person. And as long as I've had my dog, she's always been a hydrogen dog. And she was lucky because as soon as we started researching hydrogen, 6 years ago, she was already using it just like the rest of us. Hydrogen appears to be one of those magic bullets for anti-aging, and she's demonstrating that, with great beauty and grace. So.
One of the things people love about recovery is that we always say whether you're 2 or 92, recovery is going to help you. So, how do you recommend it to your clients?
Dr. Cohn, the first thing I recommend is reading the instructions on the bottle, and it's 2 to 3 tablets, 2 to 3 times a day as needed. And that said, I think that it works great for a lot of people. Personally speaking, I take, right when I get up in the morning, I take 2 to 3 right before I have breakfast. I do it on an empty stomach. And then sometime between breakfast and lunch, I do another 2 to 3 tablets. And then sometime between lunch and dinner, I do another 2 to 3. I take a little bit more than the average person because as an executive, I'm dealing with a lot of phone calls, a lot of traveling all throughout the week. Frankly speaking, sometimes a lot of sleepless nights and just working on a lot of different projects. So I've taken a lot more than the average person, and we've been using the product for over 3.5 years. Sometimes when I travel internationally, I might take up to 20 per day.
Wow.
But I've always had a great experience. I always have more energy. I always feel more relaxed when I'm taking the product. And it's great to have a product that has such a strong safety profile behind it. And quite frankly, the only hydrogen product in the marketplace that's actually backed by legitimate clinical research. And that's one of the reasons why so many healthcare professionals and so many athletic professionals rely on this product more so than any other hydrogen product in the marketplace.
Nate, we get the occasional question from people asking, what about other hydrogen products? Are there other products on the market? And I know myself, there's always been 1 or 2 products floating around the nutrition industry, and being involved for 27 years in this industry, I've tried a couple of these products. I didn't really see the result, which is why I always blew it off and didn't think it did anything. But, how did you find your way all the way to us?
Well, for me, it was real simple. I simply followed the research. And, with the circle of influence that I work with, peer-reviewed clinical research is an absolute necessity. And Recovery with HydroFX was the only molecular hydrogen product on the market that was backed by legitimate clinical research. And that's why we started trying it. Realized very quickly that it was doing things that we had never expected in terms of health and energy and stamina, especially for the athletes that we had never seen before.
Nate, you talked about athletes, and we here at 7.2 are thrilled because we have tons of professional athletes in all kinds of sports in many different countries using this product for that competitive edge. They're reporting performing better, recovering faster. How's that happening?
Dr. Cohn, I have a lot of friends that are athletes, both competitive and then just hobbyist athletes. But what they found is that using Recovery with HydroFX, it allows them to push beyond what their natural barriers were, and in some cases perform at a much higher elite level than they could have ever imagined. And when athletes are really exerting themselves, the body takes on a much higher acid load. And so Recovery with HydroFX is not only helping to dampen some of that, they're able to just push themselves in ways that they were never able to do before, and then get up the next day and do it all over again.
So with all this excitement about molecular hydrogen in this product, it's very important that everyone still realizes that this is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure any disease or condition. When we're talking about this product, it's for your health and well-being, not for any kind of sickness or condition. correct?
That's right. It's never been about that. It's always been about maintaining wellness, about maintaining proper bodily function, and allowing the body to do those things that it was naturally designed to do.
Yeah, as they say in China and a lot of different Asian cultures, that it's a lot easier to stay well than it is to have to get well. They always say, don't wait till you're thirsty to dig a well. So this is a long line with that, isn't it?
That's right.
Nate, chemistry has not been one of my favorite subjects. I'm not going to lie to you. However, one thing I do remember is that thing called that periodic table. And I always remember hydrogen being number one. It's that first spot. And, if you're number one, you got to be important. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so hydrogen is the most abundant molecule in the universe, and it's one of the least accessible on planet Earth until now. With 7.2's recovery with HydroFX, we've essentially unlocked the secret to the universe. And I know at this point, with all the reading that I've done over the past couple of years, and there are a lot of different things that we can do for our health. But if there was only one that I could choose, only one that I had available at this point, it would be hydrogen, and it would be recovery with HydroFX.
Yeah, I gotta say, first of all, I appreciate you being here and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us and your journey in hydrogen. And for me, one thing you said at the beginning of this talk was the Darnell phenomenon, what they talk about, and all these Japanese studies that we're talking about. And I had really an opportunity this year to travel to Darnell, Germany, and see for myself if this was real. And I saw where there was this cave in Darnell, and it was like straight out of the movie Cohn, where people in their 70s and 80s were lined up to just get in this cave, just to go in there and breathe the air and drink the water. And I felt like when I went in there and I walked out and felt amazing. I go, this is what they're feeling. And then I saw these people lined up, and I felt like I should just be giving out bottles of recovery. So, it is that simple, and what we have here is that amazing. And at 7.2, it's our mission to really pay it forward. And we feel that this is this product that has patents on it, that is a category creator, that is such an impact product. That we have a moral and ethical responsibility to now bring it to the world. We appreciate your help in helping us educate everyone, and we're looking forward to all of you trying this product and seeing what benefits can happen for you, your family, the people you love, the people you care about. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Dr. Cohn.